Guys, we're going to be talking about block one here. Understand that block one is a block of time and that this course is about 8 weeks. So we're going to take block one, which is going to be 3 weeks, and then we have block two, which is just 2 weeks. And then the last block, block three, is going to be a 3-week block. So we're talking about now welcoming you to auditing at the graduate level. And then we're doing this online. So what I want to tell you is that the course is rigorous for most people. It is just to be cautionary. I let people know right up front that if you're taking some other kind of course with this, you better not be working full time, because this is a part-time job. My students do very, very well if they put in 12 to 20 hours a week on this material. Some students can get this a little faster, maybe have a little bit more background, stronger background in auditing. But if you're at that point where you haven't had auditing in a while, you're going to put in 20 hours a week. And so it's a lot for the next 8 weeks to put in that many hours. So I just want you to be aware of that so that you'll know, okay? And understand that this is nothing to fool around with. You got to open it up. You've got to personally cover about a chapter every 3 days, because if you don't, you're going to slide and lose backwards, and you don't want to do that. Not in here. Now, I have been having my graduate students to go through and basically prepare a paper during these 8 weeks. And that usually takes them about 10 to 15 hours to do that. Well, I have replaced the paper requirement with a new data analytics program. So we will be going through MindBridge, which is, keep in mind now, an AI software that is strictly for auditing. So this is a company that basically sells their services to CPA firms, and they do that all over the country and all over the world. And they are a Canadian company. So the guy that kind of runs the MindBridge University, he's very distinctively has a French accent. So he is someone you may interact with a little bit in going through the modules that you'll be assigned. Okay, so that's part of this, and I'm excited, guys. You're not going to have to fool with going through research and doing papers. You need to spend your extra time in this class doing some data analytics so you can say you've done something. I know that I've gone through it, and it's a little tedious, but you learn as you go through it a whole lot about what it is that is creating an audit plan based on control points that you may input, or control points that are already in the program, and then how they kind of spit out transactions that you as an auditor may want to look at a little bit closer. So what you're doing really in the first 3 case studies of MindBridge, guys, is you're just putting in the data in order to get an output of some kind. You're not really analyzing the output, but you're learning as you're going through that and doing that. Now, where it gets a little more subjective is where you get into the first assignment, if you just choose to do that, which is optional, and then doing module 2 as well. You'll learn a lot from case studies A, B, and C that will help you with those other 2 assignments. But we'll talk about those later. Right now, let's look back at this list of things that are going on in Connect, which is your publisher software, in Moodle, which is my teaching management system, and then of course in MindBridge just a little bit. Let's take a look at that, okay? Let me click here and go back to that. And let's talk about this here. In Moodle, guys, you're going to find some lecture notes. Now, guys, these are my notes that I'm talking about when I talk about these in the videos. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of synopsing the information that's in the chapters into a set of notes, and then I'm kind of telling you what's important about those notes that is related to the CPA exam. And that's you're going to find in the videos here for Moodle, in Moodle. Okay, you're going to find me standing in a classroom or sitting at my desk here like I am now, and I'm actually telling you about something related to auditing. So I try to make this as much about looking like a regular classroom as I possibly can. Now, what you're going to find also are some solutions to multiple choice questions. And I want you to know that these are the answers to the multiple choice that are in the back of the chapter. All right, so you have them, and then in these solutions, they'll tell you, why A is right and why B, C, and D are not right. And that's really good to know, and the way you should study for the CPA exam is to get a multiple choice question either right or wrong, and then decide, why is it right and why are the others wrong is very, very important when you study for the CPA. So I'm just giving you those solutions, guys. That's all I'm doing here with this Word document. Now, what you do too is you'll see some simulations for exam 1, simulations for exam 2, simulations for exam 3. Whenever you look at these, all this is just some paper simulations that I like you to look at because I just know they're always constantly showing up on the auditing section of the exam. And so if you sit down with these and you just run them off, okay, and there'll be a copy of this of a paper simulation that you kind of curl up with and try to do yourself. And then right behind it in the same PDF is going to be the solutions to that simulation. So you just check yourself. And so what you want to do is go through these simulations carefully and then check and see if you got them right. And this is just a learning experience, okay? Now you have a cooperative learning forum that we are going to use in our class. This class, the Cooperative Learning Forum will open sometime in the first week in the Block 1, up here, Block 1, you see. Your first Cooperative Learning Forum will open, okay? It's considered a cooperative learning exercise of some kind. And what I'm trying to do is put you guys into groups. Now, Moodle has kind of, sometimes that's worked and sometimes not, but I'm going to try to get it to work for you. Now, when you go into Connect, guys, you're going to see true, false from the chapter. You're going to see multiple choice from the chapter. Then you're going to see back of chapter multiple choice. And that just simply means the multiple choice that are in the back of the chapter are also in Connect for your review. So see, you can come back to back of the chapter multiple choice and kind of go through them again, but you don't have to do it by hand. You could do it by on computers. So I just kind of put those in there for each one of the chapters. And then, of course, we have some exercises that you'll go through. And we have some interactive problems that are very similar to simulations on the CPA exam. And those are really good. And then we have, in the first block, guys, we're going to have 5 quizzes. 4 of those quizzes are just chapter quizzes. Now, chapters 1 and 2 is one quiz, and then 3 and 4 and 5 will have a separate quiz. And then we also have a chapter interactive quiz, which is chapters 1 and 2 as well. And they have to do, guys, I'm going to be honest with y'all, it's kind of an emphasis in chapter 1 of assertions. And this is the one part of chapters 1 through 5, which is what block 1 is all about. That's the one thing about this block that might get a little difficult is the assertions, because I did not cover assertions quite as deeply in the first auditing class. So a lot of you may have taken me for auditing. If you have not taken me for auditing and the audit teacher got into assertions a little bit harder, then you're probably okay. But I just wanted to let you know that that's something that's maybe it's kind of new to you, okay? But you'll find that chapters 2 through 5 of block 1 is really a review of your first auditing class. However, I want to caution you guys that this is absolutely the best textbook for studying for the CPA exam. So if you had this textbook before, great, but the first auditing, fine. But in this particular class, remember, what I like about this textbook is that this author writes for the CPA exam. So Lauer he's an expert on it, and he writes his context in these chapters is very concise and to the point, and really what you need to know for the CPA exam. So I'm just making you aware that what you are studying will help you very much with any CPA review that you will do later. Okay. Now, what I'll ask you to do is when you complete this cooperative learning forum, then I want you to actually go in and tell me in Connect that yes, I did in fact participate in the forum. So you do that by clicking on participation in forum number 1, and you click yes, I did participate, and you get some points for that. Because remember that your points are accumulating in Connect. Okay. Now the only points that will not accumulate in Connect is going to be your points for MindBridge. Those are going to be separate, and I'll be grading those in more of a completion perspective than an accurate perspective. Remember too that at the end of each block you're going to have an exam, and so my exams are a combination now of interactive, of true false, of multiple choice. It could be a slight essay question. There's a lot of stuff in there, and so just be aware that the test is going to come from the author's test bank, from the interactive problems related to the chapters, maybe just 1 or 2 of those, and then also from those simulations that you curled up with. There might be a handful of questions, no more than 5, from those simulations. And so you will have studied all that, and then you'll get to exam 1 and you'll be fine. You'll take it for 2 hours. Remember that we have to take exams through ProctorU in this class. If you've not already done this, you may already be registered with ProctorU. I hope so. If you're not, then you'll need to get registered with ProctorU, because you're going to be able to take a test in here without being proctored. Okay. So remember that it's just like, guys, taking a test in a classroom where the teacher is watching you take the test. Then someone else is watching you online, and they will lock down your computer so that you're not being able to open anything else other than the test. Okay. So I'm just making you aware of that. Okay. Now I want to talk a little about MindBridge again. Case study A has an actual video that shows you how to go through and input control points and risk assessment into and establish an audit plan. Okay. And so for looking for a particular fraud in a set of data. Okay. And then B and C does the same thing. You're just looking for something different. But B and C does not have videos. They just tell you what to do. So what I do is I grade B and C. Those are the 2 that I'm going to grade, and they're going to be 25 points apiece if you complete them. And guys, I'm hoping that you'll get these completed so you can get your points. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and go on this thing, and then let you know that if you have any questions about anything for me, my preferred form of communication is by email, and I'm asking you guys please to go ahead and tell me what class you're in, and tell me that you're in 6510 online, that you're in the graduate auditing class or something. Indicate what class you're in, because I have so many students in so many classes right now. I might have a chapter 14 in 3 or 4 different chapters. So if you're asking me about chapter 14, then I don't know what you're asking me from what course. So there's a lot of names that I haven't gotten familiar with yet. So hopefully by the time you get to chapter, I think we'll go as far as 12 here. But then they have other modules. So anyway, the point is make sure that you contact me and identify yourself when you do. Okay, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.